Hello everyone, we are back from break. If you are watching the VOD, this is another episode in our journey in the Consulting Detective Network for Lamplight City. Still amazed I said that entire sentence with one go. Let's see, we are continuing our investigation of a missing child. Kidnapped in the night. There's some weird stuff going on with the husband and wife, the father of the children, the parent of the children, parent of the child. I can say Consulting Detective Network right, I can't say other sentences right. There's a chance that a friend of the child's nanny potentially stole the child. There's some false, or at least we believe to be false red herrings being thrown around for a protester of the child's father's industry may have stolen the child. That seems unlikely at this point. There's also something odd about the fact that there's material for the father in that was torn off his jacket in the child's crib. We don't know what that's about. And really, that's kind of... we technically joined a, like, spirit medium club and told them about Bill, who we still don't know if he's real or not, and we're kind of wondering that he's not. No. And Unsecret Crush is asking, have we considered the possibility that the child exploded spontaneously? I guess we did read an entire library of occult subjects, and one of them was spontaneous human combustion, so it's possible. But with that said, let's get back into the game. Okay.
So I can't see the game.
Oh, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? Yeah. Let me. Lamplight City. Bring that.
There we go.
Okay. You're right. The child was not an elderly alcoholic woman. So she was... Okay, the other thing is, the last thing that we did is we went to her residence of the lady that may have kidnapped the child, and her landlord lives underneath her, and his water heater is busted, and we tried to fix it, and it blew up. And so we reloaded.
What's this icon top center?
That's
Solomon stitching. Okay.
Yeah. Who could we talk to? We talk to our wife. Let's go talk to our wife.
Yeah, it has been a while.
Honey, I'm home. You know, I've always wanted to say that.
Welcome home.
We've been worried about the amount of, like...
What do you need, dear?
What do you know about boilers?
Wow. Okay. A lot of stuff to talk to her. First...
I'd forgotten how good you are at écarté. You absolutely destroyed me the other night.
As I recall, you used to hold your own pretty well.
We should have another match soon. That way I can hone my skills.
Yes, we should. As long as you can concentrate, I'm sure you'll get as good as you used to be.
Kia is saying a screw popped out. Kia, if you need an Allen wrench, I have an entire set of them on the shelf behind me.
6-7. Sadly, there has been no card mini game.
No, we did not get to see écarté being played. They just talk about it.
You weren't kidding about business picking up. You're averaging what, about 3 appointments per day?
More like 5. I told you, debutante ball season's busy.
Doesn't it get tiresome?
Not really. You'd be surprised at the sort of gossip I hear from my clients.
We could use some helpful gossip.
But they just open up to me and tell me all kinds of personal things.
Like boiler repair?
You sure you don't want me to give you a trim?
I'm fine for now, dear. Thank you.
Let her cut your hair. I mean... Trying to look behind me, but... I don't... Like, I would probably trust Adelaide. I've had some unfortunate spouse haircut experiences, so...
Oh,
no. But Adelaide's a professional.
Addie, did you ever work with or meet a musician in Gascon named Roland?
Roland?
Yes, a piano player.
Oh, of course. That's gotta be Roland Devereaux. Yes, I know him. I'd just as soon never hear the name again, if I'm being honest.
That bad, huh?
He's just an arrogant little twerp, completely full of himself, thinks he's God's gift to music. He really isn't very good. Misses notes like you wouldn't believe. Used to throw me off the few times I sang with him.
Well, he's a person of interest in my current case. Any idea where I can find him?
Last I heard, he was playing a regular gig at the Crimson Cat, but that was a few years ago. If he's not still there, they might know where he went.
Thanks, dear. That's incredibly helpful.
My pleasure.
Miss Delacroix.
I can't believe the nerve of that narrow-minded old cow.
Yeah.
Who, Mrs. Delacroix? She's actually one of my nicest clients.
I don't know how you can tolerate her. If I were you, I'd strike her off my list.
If I did that for every one of my clients who thought the same as her, I'd be out of a job. That's just the way it is.
Maybe so, but it doesn't make it any less infuriating.
For those that did not watch our first episode, our first case, everyone talked up this one detective as being super on the ball and like our police officer, super on the ball and really good-hearted and would help an old lady cross the street. And so our wife, to help us distract him, comes up and says she's lost. Hey, can you help her, like, go find the way out? Turns out he was a racist douchebag, and was about to say some slurs, and then Miles pops out and knocks him the fuck out. It was great. Anyway.
Have you ever heard of a group called the Spectre Society?
I think I had a client once who mentioned it. There's some kind of spiritualist group, right?
So it would seem.
I don't really know anything else about them, sorry.
Do you know anything about boiler repair, Addie?
Addie, you wouldn't happen to have any manuals on repairing steam engines in your library, would you?
Thinking of changing careers?
No, there's just a boiler that needs repairing and I need to figure out how to do it.
A boiler? What kind of engine is it?
Addie, do you actually know how to repair
It
it?
had Whitney 200 embossed on the side.
Oh, of course. That's one of the most common steam engines around, used in practically everything. In fact, the player piano at the Firkin and Fryer had one.
Holy shit.
And that thing was always going out of alignment. If that's all that's happened with this one, I know how to fix it. Used to have to do it all the time.
Adelaide Fordham, you are just full of surprises.
Where is this boiler?
Not terribly far. It's a townhouse on St. Agnes in Livingston.
Let's go then. I could use some fresh air.
Nice.
Holy crap!
Not quite a player
Game,
piano,
if you kill
but it
Adelaide,
shouldn't
I
too
would be
tough.
so mad.
Would you like me to walk you through it, or would you prefer I fix it myself?
Oh, we get a choice?
Let's learn how to fix it.
Please, tell me what I need to do.
All right, let's take a closer look. Right, the first thing you'll want to do is open up the firebox door and light that coal on fire. And it'll be a good idea to open the engine hatch too, so you can keep an eye on it.
Okay.
I missed the second part because I was looking at chat.
Open the engine hatch as well, so we can keep an eye on it, and then light the coal on fire.
Find fuel source.
That was easy enough. What's next?
Now you want to open the flue and close the fire door so the water in the tank starts boiling. Once that happens, steam will enter the dome, and that big pressure indicator will start going up. Assuming the steam valve is completely shut, of course.
And if it isn't?
Then the pressure will be transferred into the engine, and the small indicator will go up. You want to use the valves to balance out the pressure and get just the right amount into the engine before starting it up.
And what is the right amount?
If I remember correctly, it was 3 on the small gauge. Less than that, and the engine
Okay.
won't start. Any higher will tear the thing apart.
All right, here goes nothing.
So, we're still kind of on our own with the knob fiddling?
I think so.
Oh, that valve at the bottom is all the way up.
Yep.
It won't go
We're not
going to
start it.
Seems bad.
No, we're good now.
Okay.
Looks right to me.
Yeah.
I don't like that sound still.
Nice work, Miles.
Okay.
Maybe
Nice.
if the private investigator thing doesn't work out, we can start our own engine repair service.
That'd be lovely.
Boilers
yeah.
are a lot like people, you know. They need to let off steam occasionally, or else they explode. You do well to remember that, dearest. Anyway, I need to be off for my appointment with Mrs. Lapone. I'll see you tonight.
Oh, I didn't get to ask her the other questions. That's fine.
We could probably go back and talk to her.
Yes. What is it?
I fixed the boiler for you.
What? Are you serious? It's pretty pathetic when some yahoo off the street does a better job than the people.
Sir,
paid to
I am
do
not
this
a
sort of
yahoo.
thing. I owe you, friend.
Might I take you up on that offer
I'm a doofus.
and get that spare key to the apartment?
Oh, right. You said you were a private detective, didn't you? Did Mrs. Walker do something wrong? Is she in trouble?
I'm not entirely sure yet, which is why I need to take a look inside her apartment.
I see. Well, I wouldn't normally do this, but you did me a great service by fixing
Nothing
the
about
boiler.
this is legal.
I can't just give you the spare key, but I can let you into the apartment.
That'll be just fine. Thank you.
Culinary.
What in the ether?
Ooh, boy.
Cripes, did a tornado come through this place or what?
Looks as though she definitely left in a hurry. I wonder if she planned on ever coming back.
Where's all the paper?
I'll be
torn?
waiting for you in the kitchen, Mr. Fordham. Just let me know when you're done looking around.
Culinary, the piston on her chair was actually affixed to the base, like not just in there too tight. It was literally physically part of the base, so it would have been too much of a hassle.
Torn apart. She took most everything. Well, it doesn't appear she had much to take. Torn apart.
Oh boy.
And the books she left behind are all trashy romance novels. Why wouldn't she take those? They're clearly the best ones. There's a handwritten note here. Valerian mixed with chamomile.
Oh
Sedative
boy.
effects, deep sleep.
Seems Mrs. Walker's an amateur herbalist.
Maybe not so amateur. I'd love to see the look on Mrs. Davis's face if she knew it wasn't a spirit that possessed her. In fact, let's go tell her, so I can see it.
You've gotten fairly misanthropic in your death, Bill.
Have I? I hadn't noticed. These will make great...
Can you do anything with the piece of wallpaper by the head of the bed?
Ooh.
That bit of torn wallpaper looks almost
call.
deliberate.
I have
What
not
do you
saved.
know?
I should save.
She hid a book behind the wallpaper. Looks like a journal.
Oh, sweet lord. I don't believe it. Could it be true? At tonight's meeting, I struck up a conversation with Henrietta. Charles Harris was born the day the day Alexander died.
bitch.
Yeah. And he has blue eyes. I know I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but this is too perfect to be a fluke. To be sure, I need to find something of Alexander's appropriate for an infant. Maybe his old bear? Charles loved Barney. Henrietta told me she's never seen him react with such joy to any of his other playthings. There's no doubt in my mind, Charles Harris is the reincarnation of my beloved Alexander. I don't know that I would judge that just based off of a teddy bear. Kids tend to like teddy bears, but okay. At last, we can be together again. At last, I can seek his forgiveness. I just need to find a way to take him from his false parents without getting dear Henrietta in trouble. I had the nightmare again last night. Alexander's cries of, "Why did you do it, Mother?" were nearly too much to bear. When I have him again, I can finally explain that I couldn't do anything to stop him. Thomas was a monster, and I was at my wit's end. Uh-oh. Dear Samuel had helped me so much, and there was no turning back once he consumed the tainted pie. Oh no. How was I to know Alexander's friend would take ill, and he would arrive home early? Watching my boy share the poisoned meal with his father was the worst moment of my life. I must get him back. Man.
Dude.
Finally, after months of thinking, I have a plan. Who's Samuel? Samuel's instruction on the nature of plants has been the key. We'll visit Henrietta tonight at the Harris residence, prepare everything. It must look as though a burglar entered the nursery and tore his coat. In 2 nights, I'll have my baby again.
Well, this is pretty damn incriminating.
I'll say. Now we just need to figure out where she's gone, as well as how she managed to drug Mrs. Davis.
We know that.
Oh, we've got you now, Linda. Thought you could be clever and get away with the baby, did you?
Bill?
Well, you thought wrong. With Fordham and Legere on the case,
Bill.
the only thing you're getting is a one-way trip to jail.
Bill?
And the worst part is how sloppy she was. I mean, really?
Bill.
She couldn't think to pick up a button? She might as well have left a signed confession in the crib for all the good it did her.
Bill, would you just shut up, for God's sake? Huh? Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's just fine. I just stubbed my toe on the bed frame.
You ought to be more careful, Mr. Fordham.
Sorry, Miles. You know how I get when we're close to solving a case.
You always do this. I need to concentrate, and I can't hear myself think with you yapping away.
Right, sorry. I'll keep it to myself.
Thank you.
Huh.
But you have to admit, she really would have saved us the trouble if...
Bill.
Right. Not another peep. As you were.
Where are all those drawings on the wall?
I can't see how this could be a misdirect at this point. But who is Samuel?
Well, at least that painting cheers the place up a little bit. It's a boy. Can't be more than 7 or 8 years old. If that's Linda's son, why would she leave this behind?
Because she thinks she's got the real thing again.
Nice patterns. I wonder if Linda makes all her own clothes. I thought my apartment was messy. A fairly recent model. Linda must have spent a good portion of her wages on it. Torn apart.
Who's I'm saying we go back to the...
Did we look at any of those
you were able to
books?
find out what
We
you
did.
needed.
They just commented
Yes.
about the
Thank you for
books
your
that they left behind were
cooperation.
romance novels. I think we go back to the Ghost Hunters Club. I want to ask about
Kevin
Samuel.
says, didn't that cursor change on the trash? I
It
didn't
did.
notice.
We asked about the trash, and Bill said, man, I thought my place was a dump.
Ah, right.
Let's go. Who's Samuel?
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
I don't think there's anything she can help with right now. There's quite a few members in this group.
No Samuel here.
Samuel.
It's nice of him coming.
Let's go talk with Mrs. Davis.
I'll be going now.
May the spirits guide
Oh, I
you
see what
to
you're saying,
that which
6-7.
you
I
seek.
can go look at it. Oh.
I was gonna say, I wonder if it might be worth going back to Solomon stitching.
Yes. What is it?
Worth saying, yep.
Do you think
Oh,
Trash pile.
You're actually gonna dig through that mess? I sure hope it's worth it.
Oh.
Ah, nice.
The devil lives in the past office? Post office.
Oh, what's that envelope?
A receipt
Oh,
with
what's
yesterday's
that?
date. One-way train ticket to Pierre in Lorraine. Departed this afternoon.
Thought she could get away easy, it seems. Well, I hate to disappoint her.
Still don't know. Who is Samuel?
He's
Samuel's also the one that caused her to poison? So my thought was, the reason why I wanted to go back to the ghost hunting place is because, like, is Samuel someone possessing her or someone she's speaking with? Right? Because
well, I hope you were able to find out what you needed.
it'd be very
Yes.
unusual
Thank
for
you
her
for
to
your
somehow,
cooperation.
like, manifest knowledge around a specific type of poison that works. So it's either a ghost or it's a person. Or it's a white mad bunny. No, wait. That was Max. Sam was the dog. It's weird we can go back here. New question.
I've got some more questions, Mr. LeFay.
Go ahead then.
Tell me a bit about yourself and your business, Mr. LeFay.
What's to tell? I lend people money, they pay me back.
Surely it's not that simple.
Well, of course I charge interest, otherwise I'd never make a profit. I know people don't look upon the service I provide very favorably, but without my help, there would be a lot more unhappiness in the world.
How did you go about starting up this business?
I didn't. My former employer, Mr. Roth, left it to me when he passed.
That was rather good of him.
Yes, well, he didn't have any heirs, and he considered me to be the son he never had.
Hmm.
He was fond of my family, too. I try and keep my work and home life as far away from each other as I can, though. There's a lot of things in this line of work that my wife and daughter are better off not knowing about.
I think that's all for now.
Weird that that wasn't an option the last time we were here, but okay.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Hello again, Mr. Fordham.
I suppose it's for a good.
I have some questions for you, Mrs. Davis.
All right.
Mrs. Davis, where did you get the tea you drank on the night of the kidnapping?
From my own private supply, I drink a blend of hibiscus and elderberry. It clears the mind and puts me more in tune with the spirits.
Did it taste off to you?
No. Why do you ask?
Because I think your tea may have been drugged.
Wait, are you saying?
I believe Mrs. Walker used her own herbs to drug your tea, knowing you'd drink a cup the following evening. She then snuck into the house after you'd fallen asleep and took the child.
Oh, my word, I never would have thought.
I know, Mrs. Davis, but don't worry. I'm doing everything I can to find her.
Oh, may the spirits guide you, Mr. Fordham.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well, I'd say we have everything we need to prove it was Linda who drugged Mrs. Davis's tea and took the child. And we know where she's going, too. Upton will want to know about this as soon as possible.
So I was having audio issues again during that last bit of conversation, but it seems fine now.
Weird. Okay. Chat, anything weird on your side? Where did this come? Oh, no, that's right. This is probably just Arthur being opportunistic.
I'll be going now, Mrs. Davis.
May the
Who is Samuel? And we can't actually go to the...
Let's try Solomon. Oh, the Crimson Cat.
Right, Roland.
Right.
Could that... Could be in... Like, do we miss an entire line of investigation? Is it possible? Or is Linda the red herring?
Ah, the Crimson Cat. One of my favorite underground clubs. Ooh, I spent some wild nights here. Which reminds me, I wonder if Stefan is still working the bar these days.
So the thing that would be interesting is if Stefan is a real person. I don't know how we would know that beforehand.
Excuse me, are you Roland Devereaux?
Who's asking?
Play your
Miles
piano.
Fordham, private investigator. I wanted to ask you some questions.
Sure, whatever you say.
I already do not like Roy.
Are you acquainted with a woman named Miriam Harris?
Sure, acquainted. That's definitely a word you could use. But then, I'm also acquainted with about 20 other women in this borough alone.
I mean, nothing wrong with that, so long as,
Tell me
like,
about Miriam, please.
you're not leading them
Sure,
on, I guess?
That woman could talk the ear off a cornstalk.
Oh? She said you didn't talk much.
That's right, I don't. She talks plenty for the both of us. Always going on about how sick she is of the phony high society types, how glad she is to be with someone real. But hey, she's loaded. And she's pretty good in bed, so it's a nice little thing we got going on.
So, I take it you're a musician?
A musician? Am I a musician? Man, you insult me. Ask anyone who hears me tickle those ivories. They'll all tell you. I'm doing the Lord's work. I am more than just a mere musician. I have a purpose on this earth, and that is to move people, to bring joy
hello, Willow.
to their souls.
Oh.
And this is after you've set the piano back to manual, right?
I don't expect a layman like yourself to understand, least of all a private eye. Your job is exploiting people's misery. I don't know how you can even look at yourself.
Oh,
Sir,
it's fairly
I'm
easy.
going to-
But then I expect you've never gone more than 5 minutes without looking at yourself.
That's a pretty good comeback.
Are you aware that Mrs. Harris's son was kidnapped last night?
What? Kidnapped?
Yes. Do you know anything about it?
No, not at all. I mean, I knew she had a son. She wouldn't shut up about him. Why would anyone take someone else's child voluntarily? Are people that desperate to have their own little brats?
I assume you're not a fan of children?
Let's just put it this way. I would rather have a hot poker shoved up my ass repeatedly
Wow.
than ever have to deal with a child.
Well, that's quite specific.
There is no way in hell I'm going to tie myself down and give up this great life of mine. If this lady's kid's been stolen, she'll probably leave her husband and want a replacement brat. I'm not gonna be that sucker, that's for sure. Thanks, friend. You've really opened my eyes. I think the time has come to exit stage left from Mrs. Harris's life.
You're a real piece of work, Roland.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's quite enough for now.
It's about time.
Yeah, that's a trophy. Spoke with Roland Devereaux. Trophy name? Egotistical.
Looks like they've got Bollingworth, Millhopper, and Brooklyn Lager. Not a bad set of beers. Call me old-fashioned,
Yep.
but I've always felt the piano should be played by an actual human. These automated ones just don't have any soul. Looks like a view of Claremont Street with St. Denis Cathedral in the background.
All right, well,
I like the Crimson Cat logo.
I do. It's very good. Does it print encrypted messages? Don't you put that evil on me, Culinary. For those that do not know, that is a reference to an ongoing series robotspacer is working through with the game Malpiti Island, which is it's an amazing game, super intriguing, also a nightmare at times. I mean, I guess we could go report it.
I still think we should go back to Solomon Stitching.
Okay, yep, we can definitely do that. Let's see if we got anything new here.
I'll let you know if I have.
Yeah.
Sit tight, Mrs. Harris. Welcome back. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
What would you like to do? Just to talk to him again?
Talk to him and see if we have any new options.
For now.
Okay.
Apparently not. All right, I guess.
Oh, maybe we could ask him about Samuel or something.
Oh, nope, our wife is gone.
Just a thought.
Aw, I was hoping that we could, yeah, nope, all right. I don't even remember what the other dialogue options were. I just know there were like 2 others other than that one.
Yeah.
Well, poop. All right. Here's hoping we're not wrong. What's up?
I don't know. I feel like, well, I mean, we can see what Constance has to say, but I feel like we're not ready
Go
to
on, I'm listening.
make any accusations yet.
We literally only have the option. Yeah. What
They're
Ready
just
to wrap this case
just
up.
want to see what options they give us.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
That's interesting.
yeah.
But
I wonder if that will ever be the correct option. That's
is-
the
yeah.
real question.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like a I literally can't figure this out. Let's just move on option, right?
Yeah, that's my assumption, but
Is there anywhere else we'd want to go?
I don't know, just the fact that we can still go to so many places
Yeah.
makes me feel like we're missing something.
Let's do a round. Let's just do a round. Let's go talk to everybody that we could talk to.
We should probably also
We already tried talking to her.
mouse around a little
Yeah.
in
Let's
Welcome back.
Those are some creepy twin. There's quite
nope.
a
Didn't
few
do that.
members in.
Who is Samuel? You know what? Wait, hold on. Hey, look at the next shelf of books. No, it's the same shelf. Okay. Okay.
It's nice I'm coming. I don't think there's any. I never much cared for.
I'll be going now.
Me.
I mean, that would only leave the only other person that we could talk with. Yes, it's just back to Arthur.
He's busy with his protest. Best to
Shit.
leave him alone.
Well then, accuse Linda? We pull up the notebook here. Those are. I forgot that we even had objectives. But those
Yeah,
are our
so
only
did I.
objectives.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we do have a pretty good amount of evidence.
Yeah.
Even though, like,
Go on, I'm listening.
we still got some unanswered questions.
Yeah.
I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay,
It was Linda Walker,
who is she?
a seamstress who befriended the Harris family nanny. She took the child because she believes he's the reincarnation of her deceased son, whom she accidentally poisoned.
My God.
You'll find a journal explaining her motive at her apartment, as well as the plants she used to drug Mrs. Davis.
I mean, it is pretty
But
solid
what about
evidence.
the broken window in the nursery?
All part of a false crime scene she set up to draw our attention away from her.
Excellent work, Miles. Did you manage to find out where Mrs. Walker is now?
Yes, I found a receipt for a one-way train ticket to Pierre, which departed this afternoon.
Fantastic. We can send a telegram to the train station and have her arrested upon arrival. You've done extremely well, Fordham.
I want to know who
Smells could only
Samuel
hope to
is.
have a detective as good as you again.
Or maybe it's a through threat. Maybe we'll hear about
Then
Samuel
I'd better
again.
Stop before your head gets any bigger. All right, Miles. I'll go through the proper channels and report your information as an anonymous tip. And of course, I'll dip into the department's good.
That is a
Samaritan
very
fund
good
to get you
question,
proper
a Secret Crush,
compensation for
and
your
one
work.
that happened
For now,
earlier as
go
well.
home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
Welcome to Lorraine. An awfully cute baby you got there.
Oh, thank you, sir. This is my son, Alexander.
Alexander. That's a good name. Strong name.
Yes, thank you. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in a bit of a hurry and I need to get to my hotel.
Of course. I won't keep you any longer, Mrs. Walker.
Thank you. Wait. How did you know my name?
I didn't. It was a lucky guess. But now, seeing as I know your name, allow me to tell you mine.
That's a pretty
I'm
good
Sheriff
way of
Zeke
figuring it out,
Dollarhide.
Zeke.
Linda Walker, you are under arrest for the kidnapping of Charles Harris. Surrender the child and come with me.
No, you've got it all wrong. This is my son. This is my Alexander.
Ma'am, please don't make this difficult. Come along to the station and we'll get this all sorted out.
What? Captions, why do you think I said monkey dance?
Daddy, are you home?
Still at her appointment, it would seem. You know, Miles, I have to say, I'm proud of you.
Something has happened
Why's
to
that?
Adelaide.
It's because you actually listened.
So does this mean you'll keep quiet until morning?
I said I was proud of you. I didn't say you were getting a reprieve.
Then I need to figure out how I'm going to sleep through the night without the soporific.
You worry about that too much, Miles. You can sleep when you're dead.
You don't ever seem to.
That's because I slept quite enough when I was alive.
In any case, I need to clear my head. The best way to do that after a case was always going for a drink at the Angel.
The Angel? But you haven't been there since
you died. But perhaps getting back into old routines will help.
Perhaps. It would be nice to see old Patrick again at the very least. Then it's settled. A drink or two at the Angel, for old time's sake.
Adelaide better be okay.
He's fine.
I have to say, it's been a real pleasure having you back, Miles. I was worried about you.
I
What is that
appreciate your
painting?
concern, Patrick. The past few months have been a bit rough, but it's good to be back in familiar territory.
Miles, can I ask you something?
What is it?
Well, it may be none of my business, and you can feel free to tell me to stuff it.
Enough with the preamble, Patrick. Just ask.
I know you quit the force, but why are you still working as a private investigator? Why not leave all that detecting stuff behind?
Your choice.
Oh gosh.
I don't think that we've played Miles as a rude bastard, so I don't know that the last one is an option that I would recommend, but it is your choice.
I think I'd go with the first one.
All right.
It's all I know. My grandfather was a cop, my father was a cop, so I became a cop. That's just how it went.
Oh, I hear ya. I come from 3 generations of butchers myself, but I broke the streak because I can't handle the sight of blood.
If only that had been true in my case.
Now then, will you be wanting another drink?
I'm not sure. I've already had 2. I should probably be getting... Wait a minute. Patrick, do you hear something?
No, Miles. I don't hear anything.
Huh.
Neither do I.
Oh.
Another gin, if you please.
Oh no, don't.
Oh,
Oh
buddy.
no.
Quit while you're ahead.
Miles.
I must have taken a wrong turn back there. Hopefully Addie won't hear me come in.
Oh fuck, what?
Excuse me, sir. Could you spare a shilling?
That's the same voice.
It is.
Here you are, my good man.
You always were willing to help the less fortunate, weren't you? But perhaps you should start thinking about helping yourself.
I beg your pardon?
Just look at yourself. I may be a beggar, but even I feel sorry for you.
Last one, yeah.
You. I know you.
Yes, that's right. I'm your biggest failure.
What are you talking about?
Come now, Miles, you're not completely stupid. You think finding and catching me is going to make things better?
Yes, I do. I owe it to Bill, and that's enough to make it worth doing.
That's very touching. But you need to face reality. Let's say you do find me, and this grand chase finally ends. What do you do the next morning? You still have a dead partner, no real job. Your wife knows you've been keeping things.
This still
from
sounds like
her.
Bill's
Even
voice actor
if you
too.
solve 100 cases, it won't relieve that empty feeling inside.
What's your point?
I'm all you've got, Miles. Once I'm gone, there'll be nothing left. So just admit it. You don't want to find me. Not really.
Bad dreams?
You could say that. My head. How many drinks did I have last night?
You're asking the wrong person. I was out after the first one.
It seems Miss Maxwell was right about the effects of spirits. Go figure.
Yeah, well, let's not make a habit out of it, all right?
Addie, please be
How the hell
home.
does
Addie,
that
please
work?
be home. Addie, please be home.
So, you're up at last.
Told you it's fine.
Is something the matter, Addie?
Oh, I see. You don't remember
Oh,
last
no.
night, do you? I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
I'm gonna say this one.
Yeah.
Please tell me I didn't do anything stupid last night.
No, I wouldn't use the word stupid.
Oh, thank God.
Disgusting and shameful would be
Oh,
more
no.
appropriate, I think.
Oh. What did I do exactly?
It was nearly 2 when you burst in here, soused to the eyeballs from God knows where. I imagine you've probably forgotten that too. You were muttering something about peace and quiet and then proceeded to relieve yourself on my begonias before stumbling into bed.
Charming. I salute you, O Vice Admiral of the Narrow Seas.
Good God. How embarrassing. I'm so sorry, Addie. I don't know what came over me.
I don't either. I've never seen you in such a state, and I pray that I never will again.
Huh.
What are you going about?
These all seem the same, but they're very different in their intention. This one is like hey, we're not doing that ever again, flat out. This one is like, what I did was a one mistake, and this one is like, I kind of did what I thought I should do, but it went too far. That's how it reads to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to lie to Addie, so I don't know that I believe this one.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I swear to you, this was a one-time mistake. You won't see me like that again.
What possessed you to go out and get so drunk anyway?
Tell her
I
about
decided
Bill.
to stop taking the soporific. It was interfering with my ability to focus on cases. I thought perhaps having a drink or two would help me sleep, and I got a bit carried away.
I see. Well, I'm at least glad you've stopped taking that terrible medicine. But trading it for alcohol? This had better really be a one-time occurrence. Anyway, you got another message from Upton. It's there on the table, if you're feeling fit for the world now.
I'm sorry, Addie. Pissed on her plants. Oh boy. Boredom. The new cases come in, but the police are already investigating. Details have made their way into the newspaper. Won't be able to meet you at the ruin. Wait, Rowan? Rowan. So here are the details. The address is Desiree Latham. Oh, the deceased is Desiree Latham. Her apartment is at 840 Wright Way. If the police are already investigating, why are we going?
Because the police suck?
I mean, yes, but this had been so far only cases that the police weren't working on.
Huh.
Yeah.
What does Upton say this time?
That she can't meet me, and that I should go straight to the scene of the crime.
I wonder if that means the police have started to suspect that she's
Oh.
giving you these cases.
She also says news of this case has been made public, and the police are already investigating. Have you heard of Desiree Latham?
Yes, there's something about her in today's paper. I didn't
Alright.
read the article, though. Where's the crime scene?
840 Wright Way. It's not too far from here, thankfully.
You're sure you're feeling up to this today?
I'll be fine. The mental exercise will get me back to normal in no time.
Bill has also been suspiciously quiet.
Yeah. Well, he did talk to us a
Addie?
little bit earlier.
What is
He
it,
did,
Miles?
right? But he's not as wisecracking as he normally is.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Addie, please know that I'm deeply sorry for my behavior last night. I'll do everything I can to make it up to you. Would you like me to get some new begonias?
I don't need pretty flowers or pretty words, Miles. I just want things to go back to how they were. That's really all the apology I require.
What have you been up to lately?
Nothing particularly exciting. My usual clients have been scheduling appointments, and I've been trying to get some new ones as well. In my free time, I've been catching up on my reading.
Anything good?
Yes, the conclusion to the dissembling mechanism was just published in Brentwell magazine last week.
What's that?
James Penstroke's latest serial. I wanted to read it to you, but you haven't been around much lately.
Perhaps I'll take a look.
That's a
now that I
lovely
can actually
idea.
concentrate
Reading a
again.
book to your spouse.
Yes, you could read it to me. I wouldn't mind hearing it again. It would certainly be a nicer way to spend your time than going out
sorry.
drinking.
I'm sorry.
You're looking especially lovely today, Addie.
Miles, don't flirt with me. Not now.
I wouldn't push my luck with her, Miles. She hasn't completely forgiven you.
She's mad.
I'll let
I'm
you
not
get
gonna-
back to your book.
Harris baby found. Suspect in custody. Charles Harris, infant son of Malcolm and Miriam Harris, was kidnapped days ago from his crib at the Harris family manor. Police investigators determined that... No, they did not. Determined that Linda Walker, a friend of the baby's nanny, was the kidnapper. Walker was arrested in Pierre, Lorraine, after fleeing New Britannia with the child. Charles is second in line to inherit the Harris Construction Company, a large contractor in New Britannia, currently building the HMS Lenore. The airship intended to replace the fallen Ligaya? Is that how they say it? Ligia?
I don't think it is, but it's fine.
All right. Ligaya. The Ligia. Chief of Police Reginald Snelling issued the following statement. My detectives should be commended for the outstanding work they fucking should not did in finding the baby Charles and bringing him home safely. This be a lesson to all criminals that New Britannia police will always get their suspect. Oh boy.
Want me to take the next one?
Sure.
Gascon Grand Dame found burned to death. Desiree Lathan, age 63, was found burned to death in her home yesterday morning. Police were called to the scene by a neighbor who smelled smoke, only to find the grisly scene. Miss Lathan in her bed, body burnt to ashes. The circumstances of Miss Lathan's death are unknown, but the police have not ruled out the possibility of foul play. Lathan was born in New Britannia, the daughter of a wealthy plantation owner. She grew to become one of the most loved and respected of the Gascon Grand Dames. Although she had many suitors over the years, Lathan never married. An avid reader, writer, and poet, Miss Lathan had several articles published in local newspapers and magazines. Residents of Gascon said they would miss seeing her in the brightly colored hats and dresses as she walked by.
One Secret Crush is asking, have we heard of the combusted lady before? I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so.
Third mysterious murder has police on edge. Yet another murder in Chumley has an... That is not how you say that word. Chumley has a new the Britannia police scrambling to quell rumors. Chief of Police Reginald Snelling vehemently denied that this is a mass murderer stalking the shadowy corridors of Lamplight City. We have no indication whatsoever that the recent Chumley murders are in any way linked. In any case, detectives are working their hardest to make sure the killer or killers are found and brought to justice. The Gazette has learned that the latest victim is Ennis Bowditch, construction worker. Police were called to his home where they found him with a single gunshot wound to the head. Despite Chief Snelling's claim to the contrary, the previous two victims have also been men in Chumley who have been killed in the exact same manner. Did we kill Bill with a shot in the head, or was it the chest? I can't remember.
That is a very good question. I don't remember.
Two victims have been men who have been killed in exactly the same manner. The Gazette will continue coverage of the story as more details emerge. Would you read about the Prime Minister?
Prime Minister's campaign heats up as election looms. With election night less than a month away, Prime Minister Herbert Atwood has lashed out against his opponent with full force. My opponent, Mr. Leroy, if elected, will push this country back at least 20 years. Atwood went on to describe how Leroy's refusal to acknowledge the existence of ethericity, as well as his lukewarm stance on steam technology, would be detrimental to Vespuccia's progress. Leroy, meanwhile, continued to chastise Atwood for his prioritizing machines over humans, saying that if he is re-elected, unemployment rates will skyrocket when most workers are replaced by automated machines. The latest public opinion poll shows Atwood with a comfortable lead. However, many have criticized the polls for not including the majority of the workforce.
Okay.
Leroy's strongest supporters.
That seems like
on page 12.
That seems like a pretty big polling error.
A little bit.
This is shaping up to be quite the investigation. I should probably get a move on before the police ruin the crime scene any more than they already have.
Good luck, Miles. And stay away from the bars, would you?
Yes, Addie. Okay. Necessarily new here.
It's been so long since you used that Bollingworth ale.
Okay.
Time for me to get some things done.
Good luck.
Also, people, if we're going to get into automation, universal basic income probably required.
Map is so empty.
Yeah.
Looks as though we've arrived fashionably late.
Neither of these guys look like
Excuse
the
me,
folks.
sir, but this is an active crime scene. We can't allow members of the public.
Oh, this isn't just any member of the public, Kane. This is Miles Fordham. He used to be one of us until he killed his partner.
Wonderful. Officer Parsons is on the scene. It's a shock the apartment isn't in a shambles.
Good day to you too, officers.
Fordham? What are you doing here?
The first time meeting the chief?
Captain Snelling. What a pleasure.
That's Chief
Oh,
Snelling
all right, I was
now,
right.
Fordham. I don't expect you follow the workings of the department much these days, but I'd appreciate the proper address.
So nice to see that power hasn't gone to his head.
My apologies, Chief Snelling.
You haven't answered my question. What in blazes are you doing here?
That second option's harsh.
It's probably a bad idea.
I'm gonna go. This is true, right? This is accurate. We've been playing honest.
The story was front page news. I couldn't resist coming to have a look for myself.
There's no respect for police business anymore. Damn meddlers. This is an active crime scene, Fordham. Leave the premises immediately.
Actually, don't. You have a preference?
I guess I'm kind of leaning towards the second. Like,
all right,
let me help you out.
Time if we work together, you know.
We don't need any help, not even from former detectives. Parsons, I'm going back to the station. I want you to report the minute you're done here. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, don't get any funny ideas, Fordham. If you so much as breathe on anything in here,
breathe,
you're arrested for tampering with a crime scene. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad that's settled.
Interesting.
I suppose it's reassuring that even in this crazy, ever-changing world, you can always count on Snelling to be a complete ass.
You heard the chief. No snooping around. The sooner you get out of here, the better for all of us.
How are we gonna do anything here?
Can we punch out our previous co-workers?
Like if there was just one cop to deal with.
Yeah.
Let's just hope her taste was better than Madame Dupre's.
That would seem manageable, but two cops.
No title. I doubt it's a diary. People rarely leave those things laying out in the open. An invitation to the Gascon Grand Dame's Ball. It seems it was held 2 nights ago at the Gascon Supper Club. Might be worth looking into, seeing as it's our only lead right now.
Okay.
An invitation might be worth...
Now that I remember that we have these.
Excuse me, Officer Parsons.
Clear off, Fordham. The chief doesn't want you here, and neither do I. You aren't on the force anymore, so you've got to respect the rules, just like every other citizen.
He'd be respecting my fist if I were alive, believe me.
I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I just want to ask a few questions.
Well, if it will get you to leave faster.
That is a hell of a set of mutton chops. Right? Does it not connect? No, it's just mutton chops.
I can't.
What can you tell me about Desiree Lathan?
Nothing.
Because you don't know?
No, because I'm not going to betray Chief Snelling's orders and divulge that information to the public.
Come on, Parsons, you know me. What harm would it do to tell me just a little bit?
Do I have to state the obvious? If it were up to me, you'd be in jail for murdering an officer.
I wouldn't make such claims without knowing the facts, Parsons. It could get you in serious trouble. It'd be a real tragedy to see your career cut short and you back in the workhouse polishing airship rivets.
You don't scare me, Fordham.
Rest assured, the feeling is mutual.
Unsecret Crush asking, so when do you get to find out if you were wrong about a case? At the very end? I think so?
Yeah, we don't really know, but it seems like... Well, I guess... I feel good about the cases we've done so far.
Yeah.
So maybe if...
Because the first one, like...
not gotten them correct, it would have been more clear at the conclusion of the case.
Yeah. Because the first case, right, the biggest thing was getting the accused off the hook. Because even the person who technically did it, like, left town and just committed, and just, like, signed an affidavit saying, here's what I did. And, so I think, like, the worst thing was if we had chosen one of the other ones, they would have been, like, arrested and then hung. This last one, I don't know. Like, it would have been Arthur or her. And so I don't know. I guess getting it wrong would mean that the child was lost?
Have you made much progress on this investigation?
Did you not hear me the first time, Fordham? Drop it before I have to arrest you for interfering with a police investigation.
You're looking well these days, Parsons. What's your secret?
Secret? I don't know. Maybe something about getting a good night's sleep without blood on my hands does wonders.
Oh, and Secret Crush, I would love that. I would also love there to be a Murder, She Wrote game. Like, I would just absolutely love that.
How long has Officer Kane been on the force?
I'm not one to gossip, Fordham.
That's only the second most hypocritical thing I've heard today.
Ask him yourself if you're so interested.
I will.
Why was Chief Snelling here anyway?
He's the chief of police, and this is an official investigation. Doesn't take a grand leap of logic.
Yes, but the chief of police never bothers with a crime scene unless it's of great importance.
Your point?
Does that mean this crime scene is, in fact, of great importance?
You're the investigator, Fordham. I'll leave you to work that one out.
That's all I wanted to know.
Good.
Begging your pardon, officer.
Yes, what is it, sir?
That's a good beard. That's just... your beard is very well kept, sir.
Is there anything you can tell me about Desiree Lathan?
I'm afraid not. You don't have clearance in this investigation.
And there's nothing I can say to convince you otherwise?
My superiors would be very upset if they knew I was breaking the rules. I'm sorry.
I think the operative phrase in this instance is if they knew. We need to find a way to get Parsons out of here. Maybe we should visit Upton at the station.
Interesting. Okay. Now that I'm thinking, I can't stop thinking about what a Murder, She Wrote game would be, and I would love it to be in the style of the Nancy Drew games, just narrated by Angela Lansbury.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been on the force, officer?
2 months, sir.
And how's it treating you so far?
This is where I was meant to be.
That's good to hear.
Parsons mentioned you used to be a detective?
I was, yes, for 15 years. It wasn't always easy, but I loved every minute of it.
Parsons goes on about how he's got his eye on becoming a detective, but I don't know if I'd be able to handle it.
Is that right?
Yes. He's up for review. I think he's trying to impress Snelling to improve his chances.
Parsons wants to be a detective? Now I've heard it all. As if he needed more of a reason to be Snelling's lapdog.
Oh, hello. Came and placed her head on my arm on the chair. Hi.
Oh.
Do you enjoy working with Officer Parsons?
I don't like to talk about my colleagues, sir. Especially when they're standing right over there.
I understand.
Interesting.
Perhaps this isn't the right time to be asking. What was Chief Snelling doing here?
Nothing more than a routine inspection of the crime scene.
Routine inspection? But the chief of police only goes to extremely high-profile crime scenes.
I couldn't possibly comment on that, sir.
Thanks for your time, officer.
Not a problem.
Good cop, shitty cop. All right. Hey, Cap. I guess we should go check if it's... Well, let's go see if there's a new place to go to.
Yeah.
We have 2 new places. Oh, right. We can go talk to Upton. We should...
The icon. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's fucked. For those that don't know, that are joining us either late or otherwise, the murder or the death we are investigating, the dame burned to death into a pile of ash.
I didn't imagine we'd be coming back here in this lifetime.
Fordham, have you solved the case already?
Don't I wish? I haven't even gotten started.
Well, I'm here if you need anything. Just be sure not to let Snelling see you.
Is he back yet?
He arrived a few minutes ago. I expect he'll be sequestered in his office today, so you shouldn't have to worry too much.
Good to know. Got a moment, Upton?
Yes, but let's make this quick.
Back to work, I see.
Yes, well, the coffee shop holiday had to end eventually. I'm gonna have to find someplace else to meet you. The higher-ups are getting suspicious.
To be honest, it was a bit wretched there. I won't miss it.
Well then, Mr. Big Bug, you can have the honor of choosing the next place. Under a bridge somewhere, perhaps.
Have you been able to find any leads on Bill's death?
Have you?
Not yet, no.
I don't want to get your hopes up, but I may have something.
Oh.
What?
The man you're looking for. He was burgling a flower shop, right?
Yes.
I couldn't help but notice that in the last 2 cases you've had, plants have been used to drug people. It may just be a coincidence, but I also think it's something worth looking out for. If it becomes a pattern, there's a good chance it might be related.
But 2 different people did the drugging.
True, but in both cases, they learned from someone else.
It's a stretch, but it's better than nothing. I'll take it into consideration.
Who is Samuel? this is going to become my next what does the numbers mean.
I'm having some trouble with Officer Parsons.
You and everyone else who's ever met him. What's the problem?
He's keeping me away from the Lathan crime scene.
Of course. He's one of the most loyal to Snelling.
Any suggestions for how I might get him away so I can look around?
Thank you.
I have an idea. There are several reported crimes that haven't been assigned yet, and Parsons is itching to prove his investigative chops. He'd probably abandon his post for a good enough lead and a chance to impress Snelling.
Up to no good. You impress me.
Department politics are something of a specialty of mine.
Willow's in here sleeping next to me, Kia. She got up, put her head on my arms, looked at what I was doing, and then laid back down.
About getting Parsons away from the crime scene?
All right, these are the, as of yet, unassigned crimes. The body of a young man was found in the Hodgman River by the Gascon docks this morning. A woman named Chumley reported hearing a single gunshot in her neighbor's apartment last night. There was a deadly explosion at a factory in Worcester that may be linked to sabotage. And that's it for right now. Any of those strike your fancy?
Are we trying to distract Parsons with another case?
Maybe.
Tell me more about the body found at the docks.
An unidentified man in his 20s was found in the river near the docks. The dock worker who reported it said that the body was bloated and decomposing. He must have been in the river several days. Dr. Edwards performed a post-mortem and determined the cause of death to be a blow to the head.
I see.
Incoming raid.
Certainly leaves a lot of questions.
Brit.
Do you think Parsons will be interested?
Hold on. Let me get a proper shout out here. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming by. Britt, thank you for the raid. I saw that you were playing more Hong Kong Space Train, but I could not start by because we were just about to start here on the CDN. Hello, my name is Silverstreak, or Silver. I am a game testing program Become Sentient, a VTuber variety streamer, and a fellow detective here with robotspacer.
Hello.
This is the Consulting Detective Network, a series of streams where I get to collaborate with a bunch of really cool people, and we work on investigation-focused games. Right now we are playing Lamplight City, which is, so far, pretty darn great. How far did you get, Britt, in the honk honk? No, not Hong Kong captions. Honk honk. We got there eventually.
About to leave the planet.
Ooh, have you done any of the side stuff on Belobog yet? That is not what I said, but we'll take it. Can the captions understand Honkai Star Rail? You sure can. All right. Honkai Impact 3rd. All right. Nope, it got there. Yeah, poor Natasha. I like her a lot. Her story is sad, but, like, it makes sense. You should do, I don't know if you can. You should be able to go do the events on Belobog. Including the Pokemon event, I think? Because I think those are not, I think the way that they set those up is for them to not be time-gated. Or maybe it doesn't happen until you go to Lufo. Lufo? Wow, I can't say that word right now. Yeah, we don't know what's up with Sampo yet. This is true. Oh. Sorry. Oh, well, look, I didn't say it right anyway, so it doesn't matter. We're all in the conventional memoir now. Yeah, she should be able to do those. You should definitely look at the events if you can. You get a bunch of jades, you get a bunch of materials. Some cases you get some really good light cones. And I think on 2 of the ones you can do already, you should be able to get extra characters. I think there was one on Belobog where you had an unlock. Or was it on the second area? I can't remember. I think so. Anyway, folks, we are currently playing as Miles Fordham, a ex-police officer, now private detective. He, unfortunately, shot his partner at the start of the game. and left the force from that. Now his partner is supposedly a ghost that is only he is able to hear. We are investigating right now a woman who burned to death. We don't know if she burst into flames or if someone killed her. So,
we did recently learn about spontaneous combustion.
Yes, we read an entire section of a book talking about spontaneous human combustion. So, it's possible. And now we are talking to basically our contact within the police, Miss Upton.
There's so much ticking in this room.
Yeah. Okay. Let's leave it for the moment, because I don't understand what we're trying to do.
On second thought, let's leave this for right now.
All right. Let me know if you change your mind.
So what do we
Any
pick
updates on the Harris baby?
took us into that?
He's back home and
Talking
doing
about
well,
Parsons.
thanks to you.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear it.
You did an impressive job. I admit I was a bit concerned about how you'd fare after months of taking it easy. But I suppose detective work is like riding a bicycle.
We just solved that, Britt.
Guaranteed way to end up with a broken arm.
So for Britt, since you missed it, Charles Harris was a infant kidnapped from his crib. We found out that a friend of the nanny believed that her dead son's soul had reincarnated into this child and then went and kidnapped him and tried to place a bunch of red herrings around to throw the scent off of her. There's more to it than that, but just know that we caught her, or at least we think we got the right. I mean, we definitely caught her because she had the kid. So Charles is back home. And then we went and got drunk.
I see the Gazette has caught wind of this supposed mass murderer.
Yes, Snelling has been positively fuming about it. Between that and the Lathan case being publicized on the same day, it's been a nightmare for the department.
Any idea how they got the information?
I don't think anyone in the department has spoken to the press. Maybe they just have some very good reporters.
So is it serious? Should we be concerned?
3 murders is nothing to sneeze at, but all the victims have been men in Chumley. If that changes, then things might start getting urgent.
That's
isn't
fucked.
That just the way of things? You can bet they'd have already caught the bastard if the first body had turned up in Leon.
Murder's murder, folks.
That's it for now.
Better get...
Oh, we're not gonna...
we're
pursue the... Oh, okay. I feel like...
Chumley.
If we're trying to distract Parsons... Something that sounds the most related to the mass murder case is the best bet, right?
The body of a young man
Probably.
was found in the Hodgman
Because he's trying to
River
impress.
by the Gascon docks this morning. A woman in Chumley reported hearing a single
That one.
gunshot in her neighbor's apartment last night. There was
Because
a
all of them
deadly
were people shot in the
explosion
head.
at a factory in Worcester that may be linked to sabotage. And that any of that.
The first one was also about someone that got shot in the head, though, right?
Hearing a sound she described
No,
as
blunt
a
head
single
trauma.
gunshot coming from her neighbor's apartment last night.
Hit with a blunt
She
object.
had been hearing arguments over the past several weeks, and there may have been domestic violence involved. When she knocked on the door, she got no answer, but she said she noticed the distinct smell of flowers.
Intriguing.
Do you think Parsons will be interested?
I just don't know what this is.
Sounds good. Let's go with that one.
All right, I'll send out the report as soon as we're done talking.
That's it for now.
Better get back to it then.
What if we chose the wrong one? What does that mean?
My guess is that it just wouldn't get him to leave, and we might have another shot at it. Based on what happened with the
Looks like Parsons took the bait. Now maybe we can
the
finally
guy
have
at the
a look around
stitching
the crime
shop.
scene.
I guess.
I feel like in some cases it'll give you another chance if you screwed up.
Begging your pardon, officer.
Yes, what is it, sir?
Do you enjoy working with Officer Parsons?
If I'm being honest, he can be a bit much sometimes.
Trust me, you're not the only one who feels that way. I didn't have much interaction with him when I was a detective, but the few times I did weren't very pleasant.
I could tell he doesn't seem to care much for you. Although I don't think he cares much for anyone except the chief, and that's only because he's the one who gives out the promotions.
What was Chief Snelling doing here?
He was inspecting the crime scene.
Yes, but why was he involved?
For that.
Well, Someone thought it might be related to the big case we're not supposed to talk about.
Okay.
You mean the mass murderer?
Yes, sir. I could see why the chief is upset that the news has gotten out.
And is it related?
No, I don't believe so. But the news reports have been getting the public on edge.
Of course. The less information there is, the easier it is for rumors to start spreading.
Exactly. Chief Snelling has a lot of fires to put out.
If that's the case, it's too bad he didn't get to Ms. Lathan in time.
Is there anything you can tell me about Desiree Lathan?
I couldn't really say.
Come now, I'm trying to help this investigation. Any small detail would be useful.
Well, I haven't really looked over the crime scene too much. It's rather gruesome, you see.
Is the body still here?
Yes. What's left of it, at any rate. Miss Lathan was only identified by the tattoo on her foot.
Did her limbs fall off?
I see. Has there been much progress here?
Snelling and Parsons examined the scene, that's all I know.
Do you think I might have a look, now that the initial investigation's been conducted?
I'm afraid that's out of the question, sir. I have my orders.
Talking of Honkai Star Rail, rules were meant to be broken.
I feel like the second one.
Yeah.
Officer Kane, I'm trying to aid this investigation. There may have been something overlooked by the others.
If Parsons were to catch you, my career would be over.
Trust me, he won't be back for some time. I swear on my honor as a former member of the New Britannia Police.
All right. I suppose you can go in for a moment, but please be quick about it.
Thank you, Officer Kane. I promise this will stay between us.
I just love rookie officers. They're so gullible. I once got one to shine my shoes for a week after convincing him it was department policy. Good times.
Thanks for your time, officer.
Not a problem.
So your crush asking, do you think the lady faked her death by cutting off her own foot? Like Sheila framing the bear? I forgot about that on Secret Crush. That's still
That's
ridiculous.
Oh, yikes.
I can see why the officer stuck to the
Whoa.
Surprisingly modest quarters for a grande dame. You'd never guess she could buy out the likes of you and me 1,000 times over.
Jeez, how high did the flames go?
The flames must have been fairly high to be
It's
able
on
to
the
stain the
floor.
ceiling like that.
That?
Yeah.
Pile of ash?
Oh, did it burn through the bed, and
I
that's
think so,
underneath
yeah.
the bed?
Odd. Another pile of ashes under the bed. Looks as though whatever she kept underneath got burned too. Or it could be that whatever was under the bed is what caught fire in the first place. Although, there's no evidence of what started it. All that's left is a small piece of cloth. Might as well
Take evidence from a live... Alright.
The cloth appears to have some oily residue on it. Interesting.
Whoa.
Ashes to ashes and all that. I'm glad I was buried. Cremation always seemed a bit too hot to handle.
Now's not the time for jokes, Bill.
Are you serious? Death is the best time for jokes. Otherwise,
Where's
it's
the
all
other
just a bunch
hand?
of boo-hoo-hoo this and wah-wah-wah that. And trust me, there's plenty of that in life. Hell, you'd know better than anyone.
All right. Just shut it for a bit while I look over the crime scene, would you? I need to concentrate.
Kevin's asking, how did that work? So, if this is actually meant to be spontaneous combustion, or at least the facsimile of it, in this game, at least in this game world, if not in real world, the theory is that, or the examples of spontaneous combustion includes the hands and some of the limbs falling off.
I don't think Desiree will be able to give us a hand with
Come
this
on, Bill.
investigation.
Bill?
What? I thought it was funny. Ugh, greasy, fetid, stinking ashes. Who knew the human body was capable of producing such a disgusting byproduct?
I'm surprised the coroner hasn't taken the body away yet.
Probably because there isn't much of a body left to take.
Or-
Either that or Dr. Edwards knows better than to deal with something like this.
It's
the other
extremely
hand,
unlike
though?
him. He'd jump at the chance to examine this body. Perhaps we should allow him the pleasure.
I hope you're not suggesting what I think you're suggesting. Alas, poor Desiree, a woman of infinite riches, of tastes most fancy. Where's all your money now? Come to think of it, that question might be worth answering. This one's clean. Well, aside from the fact that the rest of the leg is burned off. There's a tattoo on her ankle. It says, "Dancing through life." Hate to break it to her, but that dance is over.
I I can pick up the ashes.
Oh, go for it.
Miles, do you really want to go carrying around those stinking ashes in your pocket? It'll take ages to get the smell out.
Good point. I'll need to find something to carry them in.
Some crumpled up letters. They look to be of the romantic variety.
They're from the same person, one Peter Andrews.
It's always sad to see a case of unrequited love. I'm thinking we should find out who this Peter Andrews is.
Good idea. Now, are you finally willing to admit that looking through rubbish does yield results sometimes?
Fine, you win. But I don't think I envy your prize.
Do people know if Britt has encountered the second most important thing around Belobog? Because there's a joke I would like to make, but I don't want to spoil it for her. Dearest Desiree, I offer you my heart. Oh, I am sadly unable to offer you my hand. Oh, that circumstances were different. How must life and love both be so cruel? I must continue to love and admire you from afar. I can only hope that these feelings are mutual. Love, Peter. For Unseeker Crush, very related to what we are inspecting right now. My dearest Desiree, once again I must declare my love for you. Though you have not yet responded to any of my letters, I maintain hope that you care for me as I do for you. Remain ever faithful. Call upon me and I'll rush to your side. We will embrace as Mr. and Mrs. Andrews at long last. Love, Peter.
Music is so dramatic.
For Unseeker Crush, there was a joke about things related to this character in a dream memory that we might have gone through recently.
It looks as though Miss Lathan was in the middle of writing something.
It's an article for Brentwell magazine.
In the middle? We are all familiar with the idea.
Excuse me?
A bit on the nose, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Classic Brentwell. They have a reputation for making their writers go to extremes for their articles, all for the sake of entertainment.
Perhaps we should pay their offices a visit, see exactly what it was Miss Lathan was doing for them.
We're all familiar with the idea of an inner fire, a term usually applied to our sense of passion or determination. What if that inner fire was of more physical nature? That is to say, each of us had the capability to light a real fire within our bodies. Is this a workplace accident?
Did you search the trash?
Yes, that was where we found the love letters.
Ah, okay. What about the drawers over there on the left?
There's a letter in here.
This just keeps getting more and more interesting. The law firm of Usher and Price isn't too far from here. I think it's definitely worth paying him a little visit.
Letters to inform you that we have received your request to make changes to your beneficiary, as indicated in your last will and testament. Huh. Please come to the law office of Usher and Price, 72 Cadman Street. I don't know what that is. Orchestra? Maybe?
Huh?
This word.
Oh, yeah.
Orchestra? So that we may review the documents and make the necessary edits. Worcester.
That's a nice portrait of Miss Lathan. Too bad it was damaged by the fire. The area where the artist's signature should be has been singed and is unreadable. Too bad.
But the date is still legible. It's from this year.
Looks like this one barely managed to survive. Pity. It looked like a nice work of art.
What I was going to say, Britt, because this is not spoilery, this is more hinty, is that this game and other games show you that it is always worth looking in the trash for something.
We can't look at that book in the foreground?
No.
It's so prominent.
Doesn't look as though this fireplace has been used in a long time. I suppose we can rule it out as the source. Okay.
Yes, okay, you click through the trash. Yeah, I'm pretty sure our character, before they were injected with a Stellaron, may have just been personified of a raccoon, and then just made into a human. But I will say you should inspect every trash can. Multiple times.
We can't check under the rug?
No, it wasn't even interactable to look at.
Was there someone else in the room just now? I thought I heard you talking.
Oh.
Oh, no. It's just sometimes I think aloud when investigating crime scenes.
I see.
Good save. We don't need any more police officers thinking you're insane.
Willow's snoring. Have a good night, Britt. Thank you so much for the raid.
Good night, Britt.
Judging by these books, Miss Lathan was quite the fan of poetry. Let's just hope her taste...
Okay, no, we read that.
Definitely too young to be Miss Lathan. Perhaps a relative? You have to hand it to her. Miss Lathan certainly had a unique taste in fashion. I bet you could see her coming a mile away.
Wait, really, on Secret Crush? I was just making that joke because we dig through the trash all the time. That's amazing.
That's wonderful.
For those that are not watching this live, Unsecret Crush has just said, as a matter of fact, there's going to be an event in 2.2 called Legend of the Galactic Baseballer, where they are depicted as a raccoon mascot. That's amazing. We have a lot more spots to go to now. Okay.
So we have the law office,
the magazine, and then back to the supper club.
Wait, what was the magazine?
Where she was writing the fire.
Oh, right.
The internal fire for.
Mm-hmm.
Have any preferences?
I'm kind of curious about the magazine.
Sir, you are too small for that chair.
Hello there. Are you here to drop off an article?
Hello there.
No, actually, I'm a private investigator. The name's Miles Fordham.
How exciting. You must have so many interesting stories.
You could say that, yes.
I have a ghost in my head.
Come in. I'm Alan Brentwell, owner and publisher of Brentwell Magazine.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Spying on the notes. Oh, he's still writing. Okay. Oops.
For Whom the Bell Almost Tolled by Suki Snobs. Fascinating stuff. Confessions of a Steam Addict by Ezra Bartley. I think I'm better off not knowing.
Nope, just the name. Okay.
For the publisher of a sensationalist rag, Brentwell is awfully well read. Assuming he actually has read all those books, of course. Empty. Too bad.
I have some
Oh
questions.
no, these are just
for you,
huge
Mr.
chairs.
Brentwell. Wonderful. It's so seldom I get to answer questions.
This is not what I thought he would look like.
What can you tell me about Desiree Lathan?
Desiree Lathan. Oh, why, she came to me a few weeks ago in response to an ad I took out requesting articles. She told me she had an idea readers would love. We agreed on 3 crowns per paragraph, and she was on her way. Come to think of it, I haven't heard from her in a few days.
That's nice. I keep watching the eyes, and he looked to the side when he said that.
Were you aware that Miss Lathan is dead?
What? No, I had no idea. What happened?
I'm not exactly sure. She seems to have burned to death under mysterious circumstances.
Mysterious circumstances?
Most of her body was burnt to ash, but there's very little fire damage around her. It's as though
Don't
she
give up
herself just caught
information.
fire.
Oh, that sounds positively ghastly. Oh dear.
Is something wrong?
I just remembered. The article she was writing. Dear God. I hope she didn't go too far with her research.
Tell me about Brentwell Magazine.
We're a monthly publication focusing on both fiction and non-fiction pieces.
Ah, yes, you're publishing that serial, aren't you? The Dissembling Mechanism?
You're a subscriber! Tell me, what did you think of the conclusion? Quite astonishing, wasn't it?
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, I'm afraid.
Ah, then I won't say any more about it. My
No
dream
worries,
was to
Unstable
have a
Deuce. And yes,
magazine that
potentially
was
spontaneous
well-respected
combustion.
and educational. But sadly, it seems today's audiences are much more interested in reading about sightings of giant bat creatures or mysterious buried treasures. Such a pity.
I hear you have a bit of a reputation for making your reporters do questionable things for their articles.
You are mistaken, Mr. Fordham. I don't force my writers to do anything. They seem to have this notion that the more extreme their research, the more authentic the articles will be.
What sort of extremes are we talking about here?
We had one writer who attempted to heighten the sensation of fear she wanted to express in her story.
Huh.
Damn near decapitated herself by sticking her head through an opening at the clock tower at St. Denis
Well, that's
Cathedral.
a bad idea.
Ugh. Thankfully, she made it out alive. It would have been quite the predicament if she hadn't. Especially considering that was our most popular article last year. Oh, people have such odd taste.
What made you decide to start this business?
I always wanted to be a journalist. I never had much luck with any of the local papers, though. So I decided to start my own. I admit it's not exactly what I wanted, but I like to think Brentwell magazine has found its own unique voice.
Voice? More like a gurgling scream.
Jeez, Bill.
What exactly was Desiree's article about?
I'm not entirely sure. She merely came to me with the proposal.
She didn't tell you what that idea was?
She did, but I wasn't sure what to make of it.
Please, Mr. Brentwell, stop stalling and tell me what she was writing about.
It was about spontaneous human combustion.
Well.
What do you know about spontaneous human combustion?
That's the thing. I don't know very much at all. It sounded interesting enough. That's why I accepted Miss Lathan's proposal to write the article about it.
But what do you know about it?
Only that it's a mysterious phenomenon in which a person catches fire spontaneously and burns to death. It sounds exactly as you described Miss Lathan's condition.
Do you know what Miss Lathan's research on the subject involved?
Only the one contact I gave her, a Miss Angela Maxwell at the Spectre Society in Gascon.
The Spectre Society, huh? Shouldn't be surprised to hear that name again.
Are you a member?
Actually, I am.
Then I suggest you do some research there. There's bound to
Yeah, I
be
guess technically we are, aren't we?
in that curious library of theirs.
Like we changed
I will.
to asking questions, but technically she said,
Thanks
"Yeah,
for your
you're a
time,
member
Mr.
now."
Brentwell.
The pleasure is all mine.
I can only begin to imagine how many lurid and salacious articles are kept in those cabinets. I can only begin to...
Okay. Miles, work on your posture. Back to the Spectre Society, or do we go to another place?
I guess we might as well follow up with that. Go to the Spectre Society.
Welcome back, Mr. Fordham.
Could I ask
Are
you
there more
about some
books
things,
now?
Miss Maxwell?
Certainly, darling.
Are you familiar with a woman named Desiree Lathan?
Yes, she came to see me just last week. She told me she was doing research for an article she was writing for Brentwell magazine.
What sort of research?
She asked me a few questions and looked at my books. That was all. She wasn't here for very long.
And what was she researching?
Something about spontaneous human combustion, I believe.
Did you know that Desiree Lathan is dead?
We're just going around telling everybody the actual details of the case.
I didn't. What happened to her?
She was found burned to death in her bed.
How awful.
Do you have any idea how this may have happened?
There are a number of possibilities, but if she was in the middle of researching spontaneous human combustion, and then to have this happen, it can't be a coincidence.
Are you suggesting she herself was a victim of spontaneous combustion?
One need only compare the circumstances of her death with the facts, darling.
She can't be serious, can she?
What can you tell me about spontaneous human combustion?
I'm not overly familiar with the subject, but I do have a book about it on the shelf back there. You are welcome to look at it if it will help.
I may, but I'd like to know what your understanding of it is.
Well, I believe it is when the human body inexplicably catches fire and burns. It usually
Yes,
occurs
that's what
among elderly
spontaneous
women who
and
drink
human
excess
and combustion
very little
mean.
fire damage is caused around the body. That's really all I know, darling. It's not a very agreeable subject for study now, is it?
Thank you for the information. It was very enlightening.
It was my pleasure, darling.
Yeah, there are more books there. Oh, but we can't look at them.
We can't see them. Interesting.
This all sounds strangely familiar, but spontaneous human combustion can't be real, can it? Then again, sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one.
Was she a chronic alcoholic? Do we know that?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Also, it does say the hands and feet usually fall off, but
no, it was not just her feet.
Most of the leg was still there.
That makes me believe that this is a goof, a gaffe, or I guess not, but like someone trying to pull the wool over our eyes.
What a ridiculous contraption.
Yeah, like it almost seems
There's quite a few
like
members in this group.
Unbelievable that it would actually happen to her as she was researching it, right?
Yeah. That seems...
Even if you're willing to accept it as a possibility.
Yeah, extremely suspect. I say we go to the supper club because then we can find out if she was a booze hound.
Ah, yeah, good idea.
Lamplight? Nope, can't interact.
Nobody's bothered clearing this table yet, it seems. The bridge to Lyon overlooking the House of Parliament. I suppose that seeing that helps the patrons of this club put on airs.
Below the knee on Secret Crush? Well, that was definitely above the knee in our cases, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
That painting depicts a hand dropping a bunch of blood-soaked silver coins into another hand. Definitely sets the bar for the type of people who come here, I'd say.
Excuse me, miss?
Oh, well, hello there, handsome.
Ma'am, I am
I've never
married.
seen you around here before. Care to join me for a drink?
There you go.
You're very kind to offer, but I must decline. My wife wouldn't appreciate it.
Who says she'd have to
Wow.
know?
Believe me, she'd know. She's very perceptive.
Pity. Seems like all the good ones are already taken.
The name's Miles Fordham, and you are?
Charlotte Robineau.
Pleasure. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions?
I suppose not. It would help pass the time.
Were you here for the Grand Dame's ball the other night?
Of course, we all were. Well, except for Laura. Terrible business.
You mean Laura Dupre?
The very same. Have you met?
I have. In fact, I investigated her attempted murder.
Is that right? I heard she ended up in jail for torturing her
Sure did.
servants.
Yes, it was quite disturbing.
I didn't think Laura was capable of such a thing. She always seemed so kind. I guess we all have our dark secrets.
Does that apply to you as well, Miss Robineau?
If I told you, then it would no longer be a secret, would it?
Fair point.
On Secret Crush also mentioning that it was above the, including the knee. And then, much like the last case being like the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, there is a real-life historical event this case seems to be inspired by. Well, that's rad. I mean, not the horrible grisly death, but that this is based off real events.
Do you know Desiree Lathan?
I knew her, yes.
When did you last speak to her?
Oh, it's been ages. She and I haven't had much to do with each other for a while.
Why is that?
It's really not important. We just didn't see eye to eye on a few things.
Was she at the Grand Dame's ball?
Yes, she was. Drinking
Well,
up a
answers
storm
that question.
as usual. Desi really knew how to enjoy herself.
How much did she drink?
Oh, I don't know. She used to outmatch me, and I can handle quite a bit.
What can you tell me about Desiree's death?
Just what I've read in the papers. She burned to death. It's horrible. She certainly didn't deserve to die in such a gruesome way.
Did she have any enemies? Anyone who might have wanted to do her harm?
No. Everyone loved her.
Except you?
Mr. Fordham, I said we haven't had much to do with each other. that doesn't mean I didn't care for her. Now please, let's drop the subject.
Is the name Peter Andrews familiar to you?
Peter Andrews? Is he still around?
I'd be able to tell you that if you told me who he is.
He's desperate. That's who he is. A lovesick fool who is obsessed with Desi.
Oh,
Sent her
okay.
love letters all of the time.
Well, you know where I can find him.
Why would you want to?
Because I want to question him about Miss Lathan's death.
Oh, I suppose that makes some sense. All I remember Desi telling me is that he worked at the Bank of Vespuccia, a clerk or some
Interesting.
such. Imagine.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
If he's a super young dude, he might be trying to have her will changed.
Tell me a little about yourself.
Why, Mr. Fordham, I hardly know you. Well, that said, I'm always open to making new friends.
Ooh, watch out, Miles. I think she's getting ready to pounce.
Oh boy. Well, we saved. This one is polite.
You've really got a great sense of fashion and style. All the other grand dames must be jealous.
Oh, you.
I must compliment you on your lovely hairstyle.
Oh, how sweet of you to say. Though it is getting a bit ragged. I'm having it done this afternoon, in fact.
Oh, shit.
My girl Adelaide is a treasure.
You don't say. Well, she must be talented to improve on near perfection.
Oh, such a flattering tongue, Mr. Fordham.
Can I just say you've got the most radiant smile I've ever seen?
Oh, why, that's very sweet of you, Mr. Fordham.
It's true. Not many women your age still have all their teeth intact.
Nope.
I beg your pardon?
I didn't know you were such a master of the high kick, Miles. You got your foot in your mouth in record time.
I just meant... You know what? Never mind. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to your drink.
Thanks,
Okay.
sweetheart.
Okay. Well. We didn't need to do that. That got us literally nothing. I won't reload. We made our choice.
Are you sure? You made the choice.
You're
I just
not
wanna be
wrong.
clear on that.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh man, are these not in order? Oh no. They're in
What order are they
alphabetical.
in?
Yeah, what order is this in? Hold
No,
on.
they're not alphabetical. First is at the bottom. What was the last one you... Huh. I'm so confused.
Oh shit, are we out of save slots and it's just not told us?
Oh god, what?
That would suck. Alright, well.
Oh wait, save test was up there.
We're
What?
not at it. That's really weird. It wasn't there before we deleted. I think start case 3, post start, it's gonna be around. Are we just out of space? Like let's delete this one. And let's delete this one. Nope.
That's really weird. What was this place called?
The Supper Club.
Supper Club. So
I
you
thought I
named the
saved it as supper
file that,
thing.
right?
Yeah. That's really weird. Yeah, that's all the way back here.
Man. That's a bummer. But I mean, at least we didn't do anything too terrible.
If we get divorced by the
Hopefully.
end of this game, I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah, it does seem like the UI is out of space. Don't delete save test.
Nope.
Can I just say, I hate when a confirmation to delete dialogue does not clarify the item you're deleting.
This wasn't
Put
there
the name
before.
in there.
This wasn't there before. What is... All right, well, hold on. If that's the case, then if I go to here...
Crimson says saving. There are 50 save slots, including one reserved for an autosave. The game autosaves each time you go to the map screen. You can delete or overwrite a previous save, but you will not be alerted when you've reached the save game capacity. You may inadvertently lose progress, so it seems a good idea to number as well as name saves.
I will start numbering saves.
Excuse me.
Oh.
But what's weird is the autosave was also missing, and now it's there. The map autosave is there. So,
yeah, that is weird.
You're very... Were you...
Yeah. Oh. Mr.
Tell me...
Well, that's...
Goodbye.
Thanks for...
We'll start from... we'll do this. 3, 1. And I get
your icon on a quick Google search.
Yeah,
thank you for looking that up.
Appreciate it. We're gonna do some cleanup here. Who is Samuel? Okay. I feel good enough about that. And then I'll probably just do like a 3-1 safety save if it's not an important save. Bank of Vespuccia or the law firm?
Let's try the law firm.
Yeah, my feeling is that we find out what she changed her will to, and if it involves Mr. Peter.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome
Good
to the
afternoon.
law offices of Usher and Price. May I help you?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator, and I'm looking for Jonas Usher.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but Mr. Usher is not seeing anyone today. If it's a matter of urgent legal importance, you could see Mr. Price.
Seems like they've got some kind of modern message delivery service in here. Of all the things to spend your money on.
Yeah, I like pneumatic tube. They're cool. It's also a very important puzzle in Grim Fandango.
That pipe really clashes with the rest of the decor in here.
Oh, this one doesn't make any sense because that pneumatic tube is not going to be able to make a 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
Begging your pardon, sir.
Yes?
If I may ask, what is the reason for Mr. Usher's refusal to see anyone today?
He has a rather important trial starting tomorrow and doesn't want to run the risk of falling ill.
Falling ill?
And Mr. Usher is very particular about his health. Very particular.
I see.
I also just realized we never had anything to pick up the ashes with.
Sir, it is of the utmost importance that I speak with Mr. Usher.
And as I said, he isn't taking visitors today.
But it's in regards to his client, Desiree Lathan. Or should I say, former client.
Miss Lathan found another attorney?
No, I'm sorry to be the one to have to inform you, but she's dead.
Dead? I had no idea.
No? It was in today's newspaper.
I haven't read it yet. Mr. Usher forbids it in the office.
But surely he's read it, just because he forbids you reading the paper in the office.
No, I mean he forbids the presence of newspapers in the office.
Oh, boy.
He fears they bring in outside germs.
I see.
In any case, if what you say is true, I'll need some sort of proof.
How about her
I
ashes?
suppose just bringing in a copy of the newspaper is out of the question, then. We'll have to find another way.
Huh.
Perhaps Mr. Usher will see me when he sees this.
Oh, what's that?
A letter from Mr. Usher to his client, Desiree Lathan.
What? That's private correspondence. How did you get that?
It was evidence I found at a crime scene.
And how is it relevant?
The crime scene in question was Miss Lathan's own bedroom, where she was found burned to death.
That's quite a claim, Mr. Fordham. I can assure you that Mr. Usher deals primarily with facts. Right now, the only fact this letter proves to me is that you
Oh, so you want us to bring you her ashes? Okay.
Lathan's possessions
I think he does.
and acquired it.
He does have a point. We'll need something a bit more persuasive.
I actually don't have anything to show.
Right. Please stop wasting my time then. I'm very busy.
Perhaps...
Nope, didn't mean to do that.
I appreciate your time.
Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
What is that? Oh, is that a bowl of mints?
I don't know. Looks like a bowl of bricks. It could just be a perspective thing? Yeah. It looks like a brown...
We have to bring her freaking leg here.
Oh, man. We could. I actually don't know.
I'm not sure
we
could sneak that past the cop.
We don't have anywhere else, so let's go.
There's got to be somewhere we can get a little baggie to put some ashes in.
Mr. Fordham.
Hello?
Ah, Mr. Dupre. Good to see you
Oh,
again.
Mr. Dupre!
Is all well with you?
Absolutely. Everything is wonderful.
Good, glad to hear
Because
it.
of you, this city has finally seen Laura Dupre for the monster she is. I cannot thank you enough.
I suppose you're welcome?
Now then, is there anything I can help you with?
Yes, I'm looking for Peter Andrews. I was told he worked here.
That's right. His desk is just over there.
Thank you, Mr. Dupre. Lovely seeing you.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's relevant if we had chose the wrong person.
Yeah, I bet that conversation has some variations.
Mr. Andrews.
Yes?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. May I ask you a few questions?
Yes, I suppose that would be fine. Have a seat.
I'd rather stand if it's all the same to you. Now then. Do you know Desiree Lathan?
Desiree Lathan? No, I can't say the name rings any bells.
You say you don't know Miss Lathan. Would you care to explain these?
Why are they crumpled up? Did she throw them out? And why do you have them?
I just love catching people like this.
Relax, Mr. Andrews. Let's take this slowly. Now, I can assume by your reaction that these are your letters?
Yes, they are.
So why did you lie about knowing Miss Lathan?
I promised my wife I would cut off contact.
But you clearly didn't. The most recent letter is from 2 weeks ago.
Did she hire you?
Your wife? No, that's not why I'm here.
Ah, well, that's somewhat of a relief then.
Not sure about that.
So your wife knows about your correspondence with Miss Lathan?
Well, I don't know if you could really call it correspondence. Desiree never wrote back. But yes, Peggy, that is to say Margaret found out shortly after we married.
Wait.
Exactly how many letters did this bounder send,
Who's
I wonder?
Peggy?
At first, I tried to make it out that she was just a friend, but she found one of the more intimate ones while I was writing it.
I see. And what was her reaction?
What do you think? I still have the scar from the glass that she threw at me.
You're still married?
Oh, yes. Margaret comes from a very strict Catholic family. They would sooner she die than divorce. It hasn't been easy. She makes sure to take full advantage of the situation. Always buying herself the most expensive jewelry and spending a fortune on food for those wretched cats. I swear, they're better fed than I am.
Where might I find Mrs. Andrews? I'd like to speak to her.
Our house is at 713 Longfellow Street, just at the edge of Gascon.
Could be the
But I
wife.
warn you, it's a goddamn menagerie she's got. I'd stay away if you're averse to being covered in animal hair.
I'll take my chances.
That's like her husband is writing letters to this lady and gets jealous. I guess I could see that.
Were you aware of Miss Lathan's death?
What? Desiree is dead? No.
She was found burned to death in her bed.
You're lying. You have to be.
I'm afraid I'm not, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, Desiree.
Do you have any idea who might have wanted to kill her?
No, she was a marvelous woman.
Well, I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news, but at least you won't have to worry about writing any more letters.
That isn't funny, Mr. Fordham.
Yes, it was. Don't listen to him.
I mean, I agree.
Exactly what is your role here at the bank?
I'm the manager. I handle the new accounts, organize finance, that sort of thing.
Have you been here long?
Coming up on 17 years.
Jeez.
Is this at all relevant to your investigation?
Anything could be, Mr. Andrews. Thanks for your time, Mr. Andrews.
I am happy to report that Willow is comfortable enough that she is flipped upside down and is now sleeping with her legs and feet in the air.
We haven't got anything else to ask him about.
All right. What the hell is this? They have an ATM machine?
I tried using one of these automatic money dispensers once, but I nearly got my arm stuck inside. They still got a long way to go.
Why did you stick your arm in it?
Get the money out, I guess.
What an absurd contraption. Imagine needing all those extra bits and bobs just to tell the time.
Yeah, culinary. So, for those not aware, and I don't know if it's all animals, but at least in dogs, they say that if you find a dog sleeping on its back with its arms up in the air, it's a sign that it feels like at comfort at home, because it's basically exposing what would normally be an area that it tries to protect, being its chest and underside. So whenever you see that, that's always a happy sign. I like to believe that. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. All right, so... Oh, the Andrews residence.
Oh.
We still don't have anything that we could use to take the ashes with, so sure.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Nice house. It definitely screams, eccentric person lives here. Speaking of which, that must
Poor
be
lady
Mrs.
lives
Andrews
here.
over there with those rodents. Rats with fluffy tails. How anyone can find them is
Hey,
beyond
squirrels
me.
are fine, Bill. Chill.
Excuse me, Mrs. Andrews?
Ma'am?
May I help you?
I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I was hoping you could answer a few questions.
All right then. Don't worry, my darlings. Mommy only needs a moment to speak to the nice man, then I'll give you all the nuts you can eat. My little friends just adore nuts, Mr. Fordham.
Guess that explains why squirrels are so attracted to her.
Jeez.
Did you know Desiree Lathan?
Not personally. I never met her, but I knew exactly who she was.
And who was that?
A miserable drunk. Always going out and getting liquored up at her so-called socialite balls. They try to make them seem so fancy and high class, but it's really just a bunch of bitter old hags getting together to gossip about each other. With that kind of lifestyle, it was only a matter of time before it caught up with her.
Do you happen to know anything about the circumstances surrounding the death of Miss Lathan?
I read in the paper that she was burned to death. In her bed, wasn't it?
That's right. Do you have any idea how that may have happened?
Well, I already told you she was a drunk. Maybe she came home plastered and decided to smoke in bed.
I mean, that's
Rather
honestly not
surprised
a
she was
bad
sleeping
theory.
alone. That woman got around, if you know what I mean.
Jeez.
She certainly seems to know a lot about Desiree for someone who claims to have never met her.
Do you have any hobbies or pastimes, Mrs. Andrews?
Well, of course. I do a bit of knitting and I take care of my pets.
I take it you're fond of animals?
Oh, yes. I just love animals. Most prove to be better company than people.
Is that right?
Well, consider this, Mr. Fordham. Animals can't betray you or lie.
That first one is not true.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
My furry little companions would never hurt me, unlike several humans I could name.
Who are these companions exactly?
Why, my darling little kitties and squirrel friends, of course.
And Unstable Deuce, yes, as far as we know, it's actually, so far, it's pretty close to what we could find out.
Tell me about your cats.
They're the most wonderful little dears. Do you have any pets?
Afraid not. My wife isn't too fond of cleaning up after animals.
Pity. Cats make wonderful pets. They're good company and are independent, unlike dogs. Edgar and Hubert are my pride and joy. I give them only the best of everything, and they in turn give me their unconditional love.
That's delightful.
I used to have a wonderful cat named Tobias, but, oh, he had an unfortunate accident. That's why I never let my two angels out of the house.
Culinary Disaster in chat says, animals can absolutely do both of those things. Case in point for lying. Lily will try to convince Ellie she hasn't been fed yet when she comes home from work.
What happened to Tobias the cat?
Oh, I really rather not talk about that. It wasn't my finest hour. Let's just say it was an honest misunderstanding which got blown way out of proportion.
Well, now I just have to know what happened. I hate it when people tease gossip and don't deliver.
Go ask Peter about Tobias the cat.
Oh, aren't they just the sweetest? And so smart, too. When I feed them, they come up and put their little paws on my hands as though they were giving me little squirrel
Yeah, squirrel high fives. I've gotten a few of those.
Look into my eyes. I can almost hear them saying, "Thank you for the nuts."
Well, at least you can be grateful that it's only my voice you hear and not some rabid squirrels.
Thank you for the chat. It was very enlightening.
Oh, my pleasure, Mr. Fordham. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to tending to my little darlings.
At the college campus here, there are squirrels that live on the campus that are so desensitized to humans that if you are sitting on a park bench, they'll just come up and chill next to you. And if you happen to give them a little bit of food, like, they'll give your little finger a shake with their little tiny jazz hands, and it's great. In fact, yes, I think we're going to directly go ask Peter what is up with Tobias.
Mr. Andrews.
Yes?
Is there anything you can tell me about your wife's old cat, Tobias?
Oh, God. There's a name I was hoping never to hear again. She loved that cat. I'm sure she would have married it instead of me if she could. Mangy little bastard was always leaving a mess and knocking things over, but he was Peggy's.
How does Margaret become Peggy?
Then one day
I can't figure that out either.
So I let him outside, and
yes,
the stupid thing managed to get itself killed. Then things got ugly.
How so?
Peggy got a bit carried away, and well, let's just say I never imagined a cat could earn someone a criminal record.
What?
The plot thickens, or perhaps sickens.
Let's look at our objective book. We need to go to talk to Upton about Peggy/Margaret?
Yeah, maybe.
We could just go say that she spontaneously exploded.
Huh. Let's see, Chris says, I don't know why, but Peggy is a diminutive of Margaret goes back centuries.
Weird. I've never heard that before, but okay. Yeah. I'm not going to judge someone on their name. I mean, it's like, how does James become Jim? Like, those aren't... yes, they share two letters, but, like, those are not what I would assume is...
Yeah, like, most nicknames have a little bit in common, though, right?
Yeah. Can we go compliment our wife?
I could use a break soon.
Yeah, you got it.
Seeing you come home always puts a smile on my face.
Margaret to Meg to Peg to Peggy. But how do we get from Meg to Peg?
Yeah, how does that happen? All right, folks. I'll stop the VOD here. We can go at least another hour or so after we get back, right? Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, so I'm going to pause the VOD here. We'll go to the break scene. Please take this time to get up, stretch, wander around. If you are watching live, we'll be back shortly. If you are watching the archive, please feel free to check something else out on the channel. Be safe and be kind to one another. Bye-bye.